Joining me now from the General Assembly, Independent Delegate Joe Morrissey. Delegate, good to have you.
John, good to be with you. Good to be with your listening audience. And I had dearly tried to reach you yesterday, but ice and inclement weather prevented that, so I'm really pleased to be with you this morning.
No worries, sir. Congratulations on your victory. I know you've caused a lot of hand-wringing, but basically the people spoke, right?
They did. Well, you know, there's an old saying, John, that victory has 1,000 fathers, defeat an orphan. But I would remiss if I didn't, and nobody's put me up to this, if I didn't remind you and your audience that I spoke to you, I want to say about almost 3 weeks ago, about 19 or 20 days ago, and at that point, you predicted, you said on the radio, you're going to win because you saw the mischief that was out there. And as the Irish would say, John, you were spot on.
Thank you, Joe. As you know, my electoral prediction veracity is at its apex. I haven't picked a race wrong since 2011, so I'm on a roll. You said point blank, I haven't missed a prediction yet, and I am going on the record now as saying boom, 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 boom. Now, that's a whole lot different than everybody else that's now coming on board and saying, you know, what they did was wrong and this and that, and I thought he would win. And no, that's different after you know the score. You did not know the score, and you said, I predict that Delegate Morrissey is going to win, be the first person to win that district as an independent, and you were right. So kudos to you and your crystal ball. Well, thank you, Joe, so much. I really appreciate that, and we were spot on. And I tell you one thing that before we get into some of the dynamics here, one thing that I don't want to let go is I was really bothered by the raid that was done by 9 Henrico detectives trying to find a document on 4 o'clock on Monday before the Tuesday election. I don't think that was just happenstance, coincidence. I think I've got a better chance of winning the Virginia Pick 4 lottery than that being a coincidence. And I don't think that should just go by the wayside. I mean, that was somebody that...
To say that what happened is, I mean, I'm in the middle of it. I've got a vested interest, but to anybody looking from the outside, coming in on the day before the election to my law office, which also served as campaign headquarters, with 9 detectives all wearing sidearms. They herded all of the campaign workers into the conference room. Then before sending them all outside, they all said, we want to take your phones and look at your phones. And all of them were using their phones to make calls. They took all the computers which had all of our database on it, completely and entirely disrupted the situation. Now, even if there was a modicum of truth to what they were doing, okay, then that is highly suspect that they wait until the day before. But let me tell you this, John. What they did, alleging that there was a fraudulent document regarding child support, which I am telling you on my daughter's soul, there was not. And now they are coming around and saying, okay, well, the father of the girl said that it was fraudulent. Maybe we got it wrong. We'll have to look a little deeper. You think? You think? How about doing that before you take the steps that you did? Take me out of the equation. If you're allowed in America in an election to send the stormtroopers in to a campaign headquarters the day before the election and get away with it, we are in trouble. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the process. And, John, I cannot tell you the number of people that called in from outside of the district and said, I mean, we had Republicans calling in saying, I have never voted for a Democrat. I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. Can I come in and work in your office today to assist you and they get out the vote because what was done was wrong. And there are going to be consequences for this. Mark my words.
There has to be, because when authorities try to manipulate the voting process, which I believe
allegedly that happened, because it's very difficult for the average layman to think that all this was just happenstance the night before, the most critical night before your election. Your whole campaign staff is at your office. They're thrown outside. They take all the phones. You can't make the phone calls. Some people go home. They're upset over it. It disrupts the entire thing the night before. They didn't want you to win. You know, they serve at the pleasure of the people as well. The police chief serves at the pleasure of the city administrator, who serves at the pleasure of city council. I mean, all this ties in, Joe, and it's just not right. And somebody has to be made accountable for this. And I'd like to know when that subpoena was signed, who signed it, and what the details are behind it, because it doesn't pass the stink test, Joe.
Oh no, it doesn't, and there has to be a follow up. There has got to be a follow up on what was done, and it boils down to this, John. I mean, 1 month ago, the mother testified, and said, "Listen, this is what the father's done. He hasn't paid his child support. Here's the document." And then father comes in and says, "Oh no, that's fraudulent." Oh really? Interesting. Because we've got the original. We've got the original. But they never checked that ahead of time. So there's egg all over their face right now. But importantly, they waited then 1 solid month. They didn't talk to my attorneys. They're the ones that introduced that document. They would have authenticated it. They didn't talk to Tony Troy. They didn't talk to the former Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
We're out of time.
They didn't talk to Ward Armstrong, my attorney, the former minority leader. I'm talking about young people that respect the law, as we all do, respect officers, and you've got 9 people coming in, and it's not like they were doing it; they were standing around. 9 people, please.
Yeah, the whole thing. There's got to be accountability to this, Joe, because it can happen to anybody. Look, I'm out of time. I want to thank the independent delegate Joe Morrissey for being with us. Joe, fight this battle because it can happen to anyone. I'm out of time. I got to take off.
Okay, John. Have a great day. Thanks so much.